The coaches poll was released. You talk about nobody giving us a chance. Literally nobody voted for Oregon State.
You get one vote?
Not a
one
single.
top 25
I
vote?
don't think Washington State got a vote either.
What are we doing?
Well, I mean, come on. Go
Come
Beavs.
on.
Syracuse, Miami of Ohio, James Madison, Air Force,
Oh,
Troy,
Troy got a vote, huh?
Colorado,
Yeah.
your
Let's
Cornhuskers,
vote for
Texas State,
Colorado.
App State, and Tulane. All of those programs got 1 to 2 votes. No Beav love at all.
Troy got a vote.
Texas State got 2 votes.
I mean, Texas State's a powerhouse.
Are they?
The Bobcats?
Bobcats,
Texas
yes.
State Bobcats are a powerhouse.
Didn't they lose to Cal last year?
I have no clue.
Okay,
Probably.
well, whatever. Top 25, I'll go through it real quick. 25-1. Iowa, 25. So you might not be wrong on your dirty
Iowa's
poll.
back. I mean, score a touchdown, dude. Pick up a first down, and then we'll rank you.
This is, by the way, the Sports Information Director's top 25 poll. They call it the coaches
Yes.
poll. The coaches could not be bothered to care about this.
Yes.
Iowa, Kansas, SC, NC State, Zona, A&M, Miami, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Clemson, Utah, LSU, Missouri. And then your top 10 is Florida State, Penn State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Bama,
Hey.
Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia. Oregon got 0 first-place votes.
Exactly.
Texas got 1. Michigan got 1. Ohio State got 7. And Georgia, obviously, at number 1, got 46.
Not a single first-place vote, man. Nobody thinks that we can do it. Little engine that could.
Brett
this year.
McMurphy at 8 to talk about why Oregon
Hey,
is
hey,
number
hey,
1.
different poll. Different poll.
Yeah.
Different poll.
Okay.
Check your polls out here. This is the
God.
coach's poll.
So you're already insufferable about your team. Nobody giving us a chance. Nobody.
It was funny to see it come out yesterday. Not surprised at all in the top 5, really in the top 10. There was one theme, and I think this is kind of an overarching storyline of the sport to just keep an eye on for the end of the year because we will be yelling at each other depending on how it all shakes out. What do you notice about the top 9 teams in the poll? What commonality?
SEC.
SEC.
Big Ten.
We go SEC, Big Ten, SEC, SEC, Notre Dame, Big Ten. Those are your top 9 teams in the
Notre
country.
Dame's a Big Ten team.
And
Let's
Notre
not
Dame, a
kid
pseudo.
ourselves.
Well, that's
basically
ACC.
You don't get to an ACC team until number 10, Florida State, who I think is a major question mark this year because of their quarterback play.
Yeah.
And then you go back to 2 SEC teams.
And then Utah's the
before
highest
Utah
Big 12 team.
showing up in the Big 12. And so it just continues a theme of the dominance of the sport by 2 conferences, especially in the aftermath of last year's playoff where you had a bunch of different conferences represented, but the Big 12 representative has joined the SEC and the Pac-12 representative has joined the Big 10. And so what was a playoff that you finally had 4 different major conferences, hey, look at this, we're all competing against each other, has turned into the 2 power conferences gobbling up those 2 other teams, and Oregon and USC and a bunch of others included in that as well.
We know the top 12 will not be this 12.
Yes.
We know that. Like, that's a fact.
For a
Jack.
fact. Yes,
Notre Dame lost an offensive lineman in camp.
they did.
Brutal blow to
Pec
them.
injury, I believe. He's out for the year.
He had a chest injury yesterday. He's out for the year. So there's a major injury update in the college football landscape. And that's one of those that flies under the radar. You see the blurb, you don't think about it. And then you're like, why is Notre Dame's offensive line not very good?
Yeah.
I know they got Riley Leonard. I think Notre Dame is very questionable to be assuming they're going to be a top 12 team. They've got some talent, sure. Marcus Freeman still hasn't done it, and so there's a little bit to that. Michigan, big question mark here. What happens with the coach? What quarterback? Are they going to have an orgy at quarterback?
It sounds like it's going to be an orgy.
I think it's going to be an orgy. I don't trust DJ as far as I can throw him.
No.
No disrespect, man. Seems like a good-hearted dude. I watched him play at Oregon State, and Norvell is a very good coach, so I don't want to take anything away from him, but Jordan Travis was a much better quarterback.
He was a stud.
They lost Keon Coleman, and I know they're excited about their wide receiver group again, and you start to recruit better as you get to that level.
Trey Benson as well was a monster.
But, like, if DJ is what he was at Oregon State,
Or Clemson.
or
the
even
last year
Clemson, like, you're going to have to turn the reins over. I know they have a young quarterback they're excited about, but largely that doesn't leave me encouraged. Brian Kelly's basically telling Rotary clubs to not count them into the national championship.
We don't have a defense.
Missouri and Drinkwitz are a hot little kind of conversation in the SEC, but they're in the SEC nonetheless. So I think there's, if you were to go outside of the top 12, because that's how we're viewing this now. It's the playoff, right? And there's going to be a group of 5 involved here that we're not even mentioning. But if you were to go outside of that, like I'm looking at like Miami's, Arizona's of the world. Is Tennessee a sleeper? Kyle and Utah have Cam Rising back for his 12th season in college. I'm looking kind of outside of that realm because you're never going to get the top 12 now as the group in the top. The SEC's not getting all of these teams in.
No, they have to largely play each other.
So they're going to cancel each other out in some regard. And so I just look at this and I'm like, who's lingering and not getting the shine that's going to earn it? Like Arizona to me is a team that we all know. We watched them play last year. They came on strong. Jed Fish became a good candidate. UW hired him. I think Britt Brennan's a really good coach.
I do too.
To win at all at San Jose State is not only exceeding what I thought he would be at San Jose State, it's remarkable. And he kept Fafita and T-Mac. And I know T-Mac's dealing with a nagging leg injury, but he's rehabbing. He seems to be on track. Like, Arizona's a sleeper to me. When you look at the rankings, they're getting some respect, but they're not getting nearly the respect that some of these other programs are going into the year.
Agree with you on Arizona. The only counterpoint I would make on Notre Dame, I agree with the larger assessment that probably talent-wise, not a top 5, top 6 team in the country. Right? Like, if you're stacking talent and you're putting Notre Dame against Georgia or Texas or Alabama or Oregon or Ohio State.
Like, they start their season at A&M.
They do. You're going to say inferior talent. I'm with you there. I don't know what A&M's going to be this year. The coaches want to vote them in the top 20. I'm sure they'll be in the top 20 of the AP poll. They're not in the dirty poll because they lost a lot, and that's a big question mark. First-year head coach. Can Connor Wegman finally do it? We'll find out. You get through that game. Have you looked at the rest of Notre Dame's schedule? Because it is an absolute cakewalk. Now, Notre Dame, traditionally, I will give them credit. Usually they schedule hard, and there's Michigan games, and USC's good from time to time, but it is an absolute cakewalk for them this year.
I don't think they're easy schedule makers. I do give them credit for that as an independent. I hate that they're an independent. I hate they're allowed to operate as an independent.
Now it's going to punish them because they can never earn a first-round bye, so they're always going to have to play 4 playoff games and won't be able to be in the top 4.
But they're always a program that kind of gets a benefit, and they don't have to play a conference championship game. And, like, that kept Georgia out of the playoff, and they maybe were the best team in football.
Yes.
After A&M, it's like Northern Illinois, Purdue, Miami, Ohio, Louisville, Stanford's down, Georgia Tech, Navy, like Florida State at home, which isn't until November 9th.
You get them towards the end of the year, and you get
UVA,
USC in the last game of the season.
Army, and then you're at USC. Like, that's a pretty, on paper,
that's a 10-2 at worst Notre Dame team. I have a hard time seeing, unless Riley Leonard goes down and their backup quarterback sucks, I have a hard time seeing with that schedule.
But you lose a left tackle. I mean, that's a pretty massive
and it's going to
loss.
kill you in the playoffs for sure. If you get through that Texas A&M game in week 1, you're not losing 2 other games. The fly's back.
Did you get the fly?
I don't know. It's swarming around me.
Did somebody left something in here?
Maybe I didn't shower today. I just got flies following me around.
I don't. Why? How would they have followed you?
Got a little BO.
They were seeing your shirt the whole way here.
Just came in with my banana, I guess.
It's disturbing in many ways.